Hey guys, welcome back. My name's Stu, and this is Sparrow Island, part 28 of the VJ scenario pack. This is the final part, the wrap up and completion video for the series. This island is a great spot to build a theme park full of roller coasters. Your objective to have 10 different types of roller coasters operating in your park, each with an excitement value of 6.00. So a fairly small amount of land. I have noticed that we are, despite the fence, we are able to build slightly outside of the fence. Now, it doesn't show us, because we haven't got money enabled, it doesn't show us, the land ownership flag and the rights to build flag as well. So, but it works out. There's about 3 or 4 tiles after the fence that we're allowed to build on, which is kind of handy. So since we didn't have money, it means we weren't able to select what we researched. So we just had to wait for things to come out. And we'll have a look at all the roller coasters available. So Side Friction, got one of those. Wooden Wild Mine, got one of those. Haven't bothered with the Wooden Wild Mouse and the Wild Mouse because they're all basically the same thing. Got one of those. Didn't bother with Junior because that was one of the last ones out. We've got a Spiral. Got a looping coaster. Got one of those. Didn't bother with a stand-up twister. We've got a Giga coaster. And we've got one of those. And we've got one of those. Also got a water coaster as well. I was toying with putting a multi-dimensional roller coaster down, but it really didn't look right with the rest of the park. Okay, so first one we built as we came in then is Gatekeeper. So nice, easy one to start off with. I wanted something like a nice entrance for it. So we've got that one in there. So a nice solid 7 excitement there. After that, then we built Water Rat. So this is the wooden wild mine train. Solid 7 excitement on that. These ones are quite easy to build, and also a little bit of interaction with that. I knew, because it's such a tight, small space scenario, that we are going to have to weave some of them in and out, have a bit of spaghetti here and there. And then after that, then I believe it was, we went for the only Mobius coaster I've got in the park. Mainly because by doing it this way, we get to have the synchronization bonus. So that gives us a nice bit of excitement. It's also benefiting from interactions with the other rides as well. So it is a bit bigger than what I would have liked. And maybe if we had some better coaster types available at the start, I wouldn't have bothered. But, you know, I'm quite happy with the way it's turned out. And then we've got this one here, Flying Frog. Again, solid 7 excitement on this one. It's compact inverted coaster. It comes out just down into whatever that's called. What's that? I don't know. One of those. And then we've got a barrel roll. Put down in the comments what that is. I don't think it's an Imelman, but who knows. And then comes back around. We've got the Cobra roll, and then goes back to the station. After that, then we've got the Spiral coaster, Coiled Cobra. Again, solid 7 excitement on that one. And then after that, then we've got, this is the start of the spaghetti. Nope, it wasn't that one. Was it this one? It was that one. We'll skip to that one last. So this is the hairpin coaster. And what I did was, before I started doing the 10th and final coaster, what I usually do is I'll pick one, and it's usually the rubbishest coaster I've got. And then what I'll do is I'll just toggle the speed of, say, the chain lift or the boost or whatever it is, and then leave it off, and then that'll reset the stats. And so the game only thinks we've got 10 coasters. The moment I test this and the stats come back in, it'll realize, yep. Oh, hang on. It'll realize you've got the 10, and then it'll allow us to pass the scenario. So after that, then we've got the Hypercoaster, Pretty Parrot, nice 8 excitement there. We've been winning awards all the way through. That's why we've got so many guests, I think. It's because it's just constantly pumping. We've always had like 1 or 2 awards on the go. It's just constantly pumping more guests into the park. So with this one, just comes up around, nice diagonal chain lift there, and then a few drops and things. I did rejig some of these corners just here when I was building Panther, the Giga Coaster. So I wanted to get the little scenery supports in on the exit path, but I couldn't quite do it the way it was, and I reprofiled it. And then as I added this bit of land here, I've added an underground section on the hypercoaster as well. Been adding shops and seating areas and things like that around as we've been building. I completed this sort of path loop here, and then added a bit of water and a little bridge over it as well. I thought that would be a cool little seating area. It's way too busy in the park. So that's all those awards. That's what happens when you start winning awards. And then we've got a Giga Coaster then. So it just comes out. Let's have a look. Almost excitement. Just comes out, a little boost. It was okay. It was making it without the boost, I believe. But it looked a bit weird because it wasn't quite going fast enough over the top. So I just added a little boost at the start, and then it just makes it look a lot nicer as it comes around. So it just goes up and down and around, interacting with the hypercoaster, and then back to the station. I think the hypercoaster, similar with the side friction coaster over there, it's probably a little bit big for the island, but the interactions with the Giga Coaster, that's fine. And then over here then we've got the water coaster. Or what did we do first? What's this one? Well, that's the jumping spider. We'll go back to that in the end. So we've got the water coaster. I do like the way this one looks, and this one was a little tricky to get the 6 on. We got it in the end. 6 fish up. It's dead on 6. That's dropped a little. So I'm sure it was 6.1 earlier. That's fine. It's enough. So in the end, I just had to put a little bit of extra scenery. But I really do like the station building on that. I think it looks pretty cool. So it comes out, and then it's got the first little water splash up the chain lift, and then it comes down and back up and around. A nice sort of unbanked, kind of like an S-bend. Actually not an S-bend, it's those two widest corners, and then down then into the main splash, and then it just comes back around. And then the final coaster then, I wanted to do a shuttle. When I was building it, I did do a sort of a loop on the turnaround, but on the way back it wasn't getting enough speed to make it over the loop. So I had to reduce the length of it. So I had to take out part of the bend. So with this one then, rather than having it launching out and doing a circuit and then coming back, and rather than having a reverse chain lift, what I've decided to do is launch it up the spike, and then it does the circuit in reverse. And then it goes back around doing the rest of doing the reverse of the circuit the right way around, if that makes sense, and then back to the station. And then this one then just over 6 excitement. So let's put this into test. Also got tons of staff because we haven't got money, so it doesn't really matter how many we hire. So we've got loads of handymans, handy women, handy people. Haven't bothered with security guards or entertainers because I'm not shooting for awards. Although we have been winning loads of awards, I'm not aiming for them. So I don't really want best staff because that'll just pump more guests into the park. Okay, we've got, right. I haven't opened it, that's why. As soon as I open it, center here, so we see the maximum balloons. Stew. Cool. Awesome sauce. So another scenario done with then. Hope you enjoyed the series and the builds. If you haven't seen them, I'll put a link in the, I believe it's the top right hand corner with the playlist, and you can watch the videos. If there are any coasters you want to see in more detail, just watch that. So I've been Stu. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon. Bye.